I still get lots of questions about the eating window and its usefulness. And when I conceived of my incarnation of OMAD, I created the window as a means of regulating when you can eat with your schedule. Because if you're like most people, you're busy and productive, it's difficult sometimes to set a schedule. So in this particular case, you have my first eating window. The first one I did on OMAD was started at 11 a.m. And ended right at the 3 o'clock mark. So 11, 12, 1, and 2, a good 4 hour eating window. What's the importance of that? Are you going to eat throughout that window? People ask. They get confused because I say, eat and be done with it. But here's where you can vary a little bit. Myself, I like to eat and be done with it because I'm all or nothing by nature, and the amount of calories I can eat is more than a lot of people could. So, to me, it makes much more sense to, let's say, have my meal here um, at the start of 11 o'clock. But some people, and a lot of people contact me actually, more than I anticipated, and they say, I can only eat about 300 calories at a time. I can't eat 1,200 calories or 1,300 calories, so how am I going to get my day's allotment? Well, you don't have to. This is where the window can actually help you. You can turn the window into a feeding, like a mini foraging bracket. So you can nibble between here and here and here. By the way, how long does the window need to be open? It depends on you. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, he does an 8 hour feeding window. He does intermittent fasting with an 8 hour window, and in that time he eats a lot of whole foods and good foods, and as you'd expect. And same thing with Mark Wahlberg and others who have to manage their body weight because they're always on camera. They have to look lean and good, but they don't want to. They still need to be able to get enough calories to maintain their bodies. So they stretch out their window to I forgot what Dwayne Johnson's is, but it's I think in the bit better portion of the day. So me, no, I'm going to prefer 11 o'clock. Now let's say work gets in the way and I've got to deal with some employee issues. I've got to deal with some guest satisfaction issues. I've got to manage. I've got to do other things. Maybe I won't get to eat until 2 o'clock comes around, or some part into two. Well, life will do that to you. It will mess with you. So sometimes you're going to be hungry during this time, leading up to this time, because that's what life does to you. But me, I did the one plate rule and then got done with my meal and got back to work. So I'm not even using all of this window. But there are many people, like I was saying, who can't eat that much. So what they do is graze. Now, there's a word of caution with this because if you deal with a situation where you're grazing throughout the day through your window, you need to be real careful because you're going to have to track your calories then. And you're going to have to be mindful of how much you're getting because once you get rid of the one plate rule, basically it's going to be easier to, just like it is when people graze and have little meals throughout a day to maintain weight, it's hard because it's so easy to get more than you need. But some people would rather do it that way. They would rather say, I can eat between this time and this time. And of course, it doesn't have to be a 4 hour window, it can be a 45-minute window, it could be a 2 hour window, it can be a 6 hour window. This is where I can't help you because it depends on how you're going to structure your day. One of the ladies I graduated from the police academy with, she responds very well to a low carb approach. And so what she does is open up a window and does a lower carb foods. And she responds very easily to that because a lot of women, in particular, a lot of men as well, don't respond as well to sugar regulation. That their body doesn't make as good a use as a food. With myself, it's never an issue. You're not taking away my rice and beans, so I'm not usually going to worry about that at all. Well, I certainly won't. But the time you do it does not matter. 1 a.m. if you work nights, 2 or 3 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m. Your window you can move around and do anything you want with. This is just an example of what I started with. Why don't I eat at nights? I get people that ask, why don't I just eat and then sleep through and then utilize the fast that way? The reason is I don't sleep particularly well with a full stomach. I tend to get cramps. I tend to not feel as I don't. So I like to sleep on a. I don't want to be full when I sleep. That's a preference. It depends, and that's gotten that way since I'm older. Uh, I turned 42 and had a little birthday party this weekend. On a side note, but I'm getting older all the time. But it's different from when I was 22, so I worry it wouldn't matter. I could eat and have a huge meal before bed, and I really wouldn't know a difference. Now I don't feel as good that way. But that is a preference, and it does not matter. The point is, you want your window is your power because that's when you can touch food. That's when you can mess with food. That's when you have a lot of your freedom. So decide whether you want to do a one-shot deal like with me, or you want to stretch it out over a window of time. It is up to you. The only caveat with a larger window of time is you're going to have to track a little bit better. You're going to have to be more conscious of what you eat because you don't want to get into a situation where you have a big long open window and you just continually graze, and pretty soon you might as well not even have a window at all because now you're going to be just eating like you were before. Most people eat at all times when they're awake, and that's a bad deal. So your eating window is yours. Use it how you want to use it, but understand that you've got to know yourself, and there's no substitute for that. So whether it's evenings or whether it's mornings, be sure you stick with it. One thing for sure, when your window closes, you are done, 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 done. There is no renegotiating. If, on the other hand, you have a tragic day where you can't really manage to stay in your window, just go ahead and eat as close to it as you can. But then that's it. Next day, you're going to do the same thing. You should take a lot of time thinking about the best window for you. So think about your situation, the most social, the most productive, either or both. It depends on you. But your window is there to help you, not to hurt you, not to set you back. So keep that in mind. How do you function? Know yourself and know what to expect.